What's up, y'all? It's your girl Malaysia, and I'm back with another one. Today is Sunday, May the 4th. Tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo, so you already know. Normally, I go to my favorite Mexican restaurant and I do me a Taco Tuesday. But since tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo, I'm gonna do me a Taco Monday, and I will be at your local um, Taco Rita on tomorrow to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I don't be drinking like that, but I'm definitely gonna probably give me a margarita or something. And I always get the fajitas. You know, you can never go wrong with the fajitas. But yeah, it's Sunday. It's a lazy Sunday, and I know y'all at home not doing nothing. So I was like, well, you know what? Let me go ahead and get on here and do this video. Um, as y'all can see by the title, you know, we got some drama in the community. Um, it's been this way for a very, very long time, but you know, we don't care about that. We're gonna we as the people we stick together. So with that being said, I don't know if y'all heard about the tea that was going on with you know, Funky Dineva and T.S. Madison, Hope Giselle, our girl Angelica Ross. It's just a lot of tea going around there. But hold on, let me see. Do I want to? Yeah, I might as well. Let's just go and jump into it because it's a lot to unpack. But I also want to talk to y'all about when I get done talking about their tea. I also want to talk about Marlon Wayans and his trans son. I also want to talk about. Hold on, let me see what I got on the agenda. We got to talk about Uncle Shannon Sharp. We got to talk about Uncle Shannon, and we're gonna talk about Turkey Leg Hut because the Turkey Leg Hut has been having a lot of drama going on. Like I've only been to the Turkey Leg Hut one time, and it was pretty good. But it's just like, who knew that all this drama was going on inside their establishment like that? Like black people, we got to get it together. I understand that y'all be trying to have like a million and one side hustles, but we we got to do better and stop putting people in y'all damn business. That's y'all problem. Y'all be putting people in y'all business too much, and that's why stuff don't never go right. But anyways, we're gonna get into the tea with the community. So Funky Dineva over the weekend, he asked a couple of questions. He asked a couple of questions, saying that he was against it says the title is Funky Dineva speaks out against the removal of the T within the Libiquita community, the LGBTQI community. Now I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so that way you can see what I'm talking about. Now I'm gonna play the videos. Let me answer search. So now I'm gonna play the video. I'm gonna just let y'all listen. We're gonna start with Funky Dineva because Funky Dineva was the first one to say something. So we're gonna start with Funky Dineva. Then we're gonna move on to Hope Giselle. Then we're gonna move on to Angelica. Then we're gonna move on to T.S. Madison and Craig. Well, actually, so the order goes Funky Dineva, Hope Giselle, T.S. Madison and Craig, Angelica. In that order. And I might still switch up the Angelica and the C.S. Madison part first. So we'll know. But again, we're going to talk about Funky Dineva first, and then we'll just keep going. So y'all just follow me with the story. So pretty much it says, media personality Funky Dineva is speaking out against the removal of transgender people within the acronym LGBT, in which many recent debates online claim they should be separate. I just don't know that it is right, despite the fact that I feel that some of the TQIA plus have been doing too much. I just think the right move is for the LGB to separate. I think that is in fighting on our part. I guess they mean to say infringing, but they said in fighting. But I guess that's an error on their part. So I mean, let me just give my little opinion first before we even start. So yes, the Libiquita community has been in an uproar for a very long time. Dealing with the different letters of the LGBT, the Libiquita community. The lesbians, the gays, the bisexuals, they feel as though the T should not be added, or they feel like the T should be separated from the LGBT community and queer and non-binary, asexuals, people like that. The problem is the LGB that's in the LGBT community, they haven't been as vocal as far as fighting for the rights of the community. All along, the T, which is the trans, and the non-binary people have been. Now, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. So if I'm stepping on somebody's toes or if I'm saying the wrong thing, y'all have full free range to comment below and correct me. But again, a lot of the gays still in the closet, a lot of the lesbians still in the closet, a lot of the bisexuals most definitely still in the closet. And it's only to recent years that a lot of those people have started to speak out and live their truth and be free and things like that. But it was the girls, the trans girls, the non-binaries who stepped outside of that box to let it be known that we are here. Yes, they may be different from, the normal male, female appearance, whatever you guys want to call it. But at the same time, the T is a very big part of the community. We would not be here today if it was not for a lot of the contributions that trans people have made to this community. Now, I'm not going to say the gays that y'all don't fight all the time. I mean, that y'all don't fight sometime, but majority of the time, you guys don't. Um, Even the gays to this day, they have this mental thing in their head where everybody wants to be so masculine and everybody wants to only be with the masculine people. Even I've seen gays within the community, gay guys, the dating pool is like kind of small because everybody wants to be, with someone who's so-called masculine, but nobody wants to be the masculine one. You have some masculine ones, and then they want to be with those masculine ones. So the semi-feminine masculine men, they don't get as much attention. It's harder for them to date. And then they feel like if you're just too feminine, that you should just be, outside of the community. But I truly don't believe that because, again, the community as a whole is about being free, being who you want to be, being who you are with freely, and being able to express yourself and being able to love who you love. Now, the T, trans, is an identity. Um, Gay, lesbian, and bisexual has mostly to do with sex. So, a man loving a man, a woman loving a woman, and vice versa. Now, with trans people, you can be a straight trans woman, you can be a gay trans man, you can be a trans lesbian. So, the fight that they're trying to portray is based solely on sex, if you ask me. But we are just trans people are just identifying as who we are, freely, or wanting to identify who we are freely, which we have that right. Um, I really feel sorry for a lot of the people in the community who feel as though, well, I'm not associated with those type of people. You are, because at the end of the day, it's just like a black person who goes to a cookout with nothing but white people and they're like, oh, I'm not like them. At the end of the day, they're going to look at you like us. You are us. So the gays, the lesbians, the bisexuals, you are like trans people. You are our community. You are our brothers and sisters. We are your sisters and brothers. Trying to separate us because a lot of you have gotten the big head and got so bigoted in your, how can I say, you know, I'm not going to say transition because that's for trans, but your coming out and things like that. Again, a lot of y'all don't fight for the rights. A lot of y'all are too afraid to be who you are. A lot of the gay men, you guys want to be, everybody want to be so masculine. So, if someone was to call you gay openly, you would kind of tense up. You wouldn't even claim your community. You tell women, "Oh, I'm gay, but I'm not that. I'm not like that type of gay. I'm an actual man gay." Like you you sound stupid. So again, I'm gonna play what Funky Dineva has to say. I'm gonna play what Hope has to say. I'm gonna play what T.S. Madison and Craig had to say, and I'm gonna play a little bit of what Angelica said. And hopefully one day these powerhouses can come together and we all have a conversation around this issue because it is an ongoing issue in our community. One thing about it, the trans people, we don't give a damn because we're not going nowhere. So whether y'all like it or not, it's like that all the time. Me and my girlfriends, we've been to parties where the gays are just looking at us like, what are they doing here? Whatever. At the end, we're here, babe. We're not going nowhere. The spaces that you guys occupy, we're occupying them too. And we're not going anywhere. So you guys just have to get over it. Your sisters are here. You know what I'm saying? Your brothers are here too. So at the end of the day, you just have to get over it. Um, that's all I have to say. Yeah, that's just what it is. I mean, I really don't have anything else to say, but get over it. But anyways, let's hear what Funky Dineva has to say, and then we'll continue to hope afterwards.
There is a new wave of energy that is going on within the LGBTQ plus IA community that got me feeling a little uncomfortable. And it's the annexation of the T and everything else after LGB. I've been seeing a lot of content lately, lesbians, bi, and gay people proclaiming, I'm an old school gay. All I want is marriage equality, be able to adopt kids, equal protection under the government, right to marry, insurance, anti-discrimination, and to be left alone. Don't lump me in with the trans QIA plus when those people over there want gender fluidity, pronoun changing, and all these other radical things. So, y'all, there is a new wave of energy that is going on within the LGBTQ plus IA community that got me feeling a little uncomfortable. And it's the annexation of the T and everything else after LGB. I've been seeing a lot of content lately, lesbians, bi, and gay people proclaiming, I'm an old school gay. All I want is marriage equality, be able to adopt kids, equal protection under the government, right to marry, insurance, anti-discrimination, and to be left alone. Don't lump me in with the trans QIA plus when those people over there want gender fluidity, pronoun changing, and all these other radical things. So, y'all, there is a new way. So, for me, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm an old school gay too. You know what I'm saying? There are moments where I feel like the younger LGBTQ plus community has been doing way too much and has been trying to take society way too fast. But then again, there are people that can say that's ignorant. You know what I'm saying? That progress is a good thing. I don't really know how to feel about all of that. But here is what I do know I feel succinctly. I don't know if I can get down with members of the LGBTQ plus community being so quick to annex the TQIA plus people. I just don't know that I'm behind that. I just don't know that I'm behind that. It's giving pick me energy. It's giving heck. And so for me, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm an old school gay too. You know what Hey, dominant society. I'm the type of gay person that can fit in with y'all and not cause any anxiety or strife. So pick me and I'm going to help y'all turn against the rest. Okay. For the record, and I may catch some flack for this, for the record, out of my mouth, and I stand 10 toes down on this. I do think that there are certain pockets of trans people, certain pockets of gay, lesbian, liberals, progressives, these younger generation. I do think that there are certain pockets of them that are doing way too much. I do. And I'm not going to spend the time right now to define what way too much is, but I will say, y'all kind of fucked it up for all of us when y'all was doubling down and tripling down on this pronoun bullshit. Okay. That really is what got them folks over there all upset. All right. Hey, dominance. They was moderately upset when y'all started all this shit with these pronouns and these, all the genders don't. You kind of did a little too much and fucked it up for everybody. However, I still love you. I still support you. And I still am going to rally behind you and protect you. But for the other members of the LGB, I just don't know that it's right. Despite the fact that I feel like some of the TQIA plus has been doing too much, I just don't think the right move is for the LG and the B to separate from the TQIA plus. I just don't think that's the right move. I think that that's infighting on our part. I think that that's going to cause our community to implode. They was moderately upset when y'all started all this shit with these pronouns and these, all the genders don't. You kind of did a little too much and fucked it up for everybody. However, I still love you. I still support you. And I still am going to rally behind you and protect you. But for the other members of the LGB, I just don't know that it's.
Well, y'all heard what he said. He basically saying that y'all was doing too much. I don't really understand what he means by that because, if it wasn't for some of the people in the community doing so much, we wouldn't have a lot of the protections that we have today. And you are still trying to, diminish that someone wants to be someone who they are and wants to get that respect to be called who they are. I mean, who am I to tell them that they can't be who they are? I mean, and what is doing too much? I mean, it used to be, oh, well, he's wearing pink. That's doing too much. But now all y'all wearing pink. It used to be, oh, that rainbow flag is too colorful. It's doing too much. But guess what? The flag was still flown, and that was a form of liberation for the community. I don't understand how someone who's so deeply in the community, and I really hate how we have, voices that are, who are spearheading the community having these type of views because they are very dangerous and damaging. You already have the straight community who sees you as less than someone who is crazy, someone who does too much. And then to have someone inside of the community come and say the same thing as if they're not a part of that community is crazy. And they say that you fucked it up for everybody. What did you fuck up? Who fucked what up for who? I'm still not understanding that because if you ask me, a lot of y'all gays are still in the closet. A lot of y'all are still around here perpetrating this trade. A lot of y'all are still, doing the DL masculine thing and, still are not living your true selves and being happy. Again, a lot of you guys would not be able to walk around with, the pink shirts and the rainbow flags and the be able to do too much and flamboyant and fag out when you guys go out and things like that if it wasn't for the girls or the members of the TQIA community. Um, Again, this puts me in the mind of, if we're in the black community and you have black people who are saying, "Oh no, I'm not like them. They do too much," or I'm black, but I'm not ghetto. I don't do too much. I don't do all of those things. When at the end of the day, they still look at you as a black person. You're still black. So yeah, it's just ignorance on his part. But again, he has still a lot to learn. He's an old gay, as he says, but he still has a lot to learn. But anyways, let's go ahead and we're gonna see what I'm gonna read you guys. play what Hope said. And hers is a little lengthy too. And we shall go from there. Now, her title says, hold on. Okay. So it says, the T, this is her caption for Hope Giselle. The T is not optional. Trans people, especially black and brown trans folks, are the very foundation of the queer movement. So when I hear folks in the LGB space acting like they'd be better off without us, I have to ask, better off for who? We're the weirdos, the boundary pushers, the ones who've always done too much, and that's actually exactly why we're necessary. If you think the community can grow by cutting off its roots, don't be shocked when the whole thing withers. Either respect the folks who built this and admit you're just here for the aesthetics. I'll wait. I mean, and I'm gonna say something. I'm with her. Cherry Bomb Boom, Miss Cherry the Boom. She said, Miss Motherfucking Hope Giselle. Wow, drops my. I'm with her. Which, well, let me just read. Let me just play what she has to say, and then we'll listen to some of the comments.
Hey, everybody, it is I, Hope Giselle, and I'm coming at y'all today to talk through something that should not even be a topic of discussion, but for whatever reason it is. And y'all have been in my inbox, you know, begging me to do things. And so I'm coming to give y'all what y'all asked for. So, first and foremost, I've been seeing the discord around this ideation of letting the tea go. I've seen the videos in question. I've heard about the people in question that are having these conversations. And first and foremost, I want to just blatantly and bluntly say, without like any, because y'all know me, I will name a name when I need to name a name. But to any butch queen, to any lesbian, to any other person, cisgender, whomever that does not see it for the dolls, that don't see it for the people, that don't believe that we are a good representation of the LGBTQIA plus community, fuck you, right? Fuck you and sit on 12 sandpaper dildos and spin around real fast. Please empty yourself out. Get yourself loose, because maybe that's the problem with some of y'all motherfuckers. The thing that I think that is really interesting about this particular topic as it pertains to people talking about removing the T from the LGBT is that a lot of y'all don't understand or realize that the LGB don't exist without the T. And that all of the liberation that a lot of you all are being able to benefit from and, feel happy about and go around these worlds screaming and yelling and married and all of this other bullshit, it would not exist, right? It would not exist without the hard work of transgender people, whether that be transgender women, transgender men, non-binary folks of the early 50s, 60s, and 70s. Without those folks, without the early drag queens turned trans women of the Paris is Burning era, you all would not be able to have some of the freedoms that y'all have. And so the ideation that some of y'all can sit on some of these motherfucking platforms, some of whom sit in these hard, crusty, dusty ass wigs with Nicki Minaj Pink Friday lipstick on and no liner to blend that shit together, and talk about how you can understand and you see and you get it because some of the trans people and some of the new age trans folks are doing too much by asking for basic self-respect and decency is wild beyond fucking belief. Because at the end of the day, the same way that some of y'all are talking about how it's gone too far and the pronouns just did a little bit too much for y'all, imagine what would happen if when y'all started asking people to stop referring to y'all as faggots, they said, that's just too far. I should be able to disrespect you to your face. And before we start talking about the idea that pronouns are a little bit different than slurs, to some people, being misgendered is a slur because in a lot of cases, people use it to slur or make somebody feel bad or make somebody feel like they're not presenting themselves in a way that makes them feel most affirmed. You're not affirming somebody's delusion by being respectful. You're not affirming somebody's delusion by being respectful. Because there's a lot of fat niggas walking around different hoods all over America whose nickname is Slim. Now, if that's not a delusion that we affirm every motherfucking day as Black people in the hood, some of us, I don't know what the fuck is. There's a lot of y'all that are still walking around calling grown men baby, when that was a childhood nickname that he got on a little league baseball team and should have dropped by the time he turned 16. But we're not going to talk about those things because at the end of the day, Bebe decided that Bebe was going to be something that worked for him. And to this day, at the ripe age of 47, there is a grown man walking around somebody's project complex that everybody knows as Bebe. But y'all have an issue saying she to a trans woman, or he to a trans man, or they to a non-binary person. Now, Funky Dineva, I tried to like you. I tried to be of service and help when you needed me. And I realized that there was nothing that I was going to be able to do to help out with this situation because there was no amount of you that truly wanted to change. You just wanted to be able to have the right words to use when you got in trouble and needed to be able to continue to secure your bag. And I recognized that. And once I recognized that, I pulled away, I blocked you, I said, fuck you, I try not to see you. And that's just what it is. But this video has gone viral and thus it's ended up on my timeline. And because I am who I am, the same way that you used to come to me, other people are coming to me in reference to address this. Not necessarily you, but since you're the man of the hour or one of the men of the hour, one of the butch queens of the hour, let's discuss. Now, one of the things that Funky Dineva will say is that I'm an old school gay, right? These things that y'all new kids are doing are a bit much, and I don't understand it. And I really think that y'all fucked us over when y'all started talking about these pronouns. Let me be very clear to you. As an old school faggot, because let's be clear, that's we both from Miami, so we know, right? We know how we talk. So let me talk to you how I would talk to you if we was on the block over there off of 79, or if we was sitting at Bayside having a drink over at Fat Tuesdays. Let me talk to you like that, okay? As an old school punk, as an old school faggot, you know as well as I motherfucking know that a bitch don't need an excuse to disrespect you. A bitch don't need an excuse not to like punks. A bitch don't need an excuse not to like sissies, faggots, trannies, dykes, bulldaggers, whatever you want to call it. A bitch don't need an excuse to feel some type of way to disrespect you. Follow me? So when y'all sit back and y'all try to justify the behavior that is coming from people who didn't like you already by saying that trans people are the problem, I know that you are being woefully obtuse and also interacting with your own transmissia, right? Because I don't do phobias. I know for a fact that you ain't afraid of trans people. But what I do believe is that you have a jealousy, a disdain, and a dislike for trans people, and especially trans people who are able to move and shake and move in circles that you cannot move in, and especially trans people who do not fit the stereotype by which you don't want them to fit into, which are educated trans people. And the reason why you don't like educated trans people specifically is because you are a very educated man. You are a person that likes to be the smartest person in the room, like the next butch queen I'm going to get ready to talk about. But I find that amongst you smart butch queens, there is a level of disdain for people who are also more marginalized than you, but have the same level of intellect than you. And then y'all get on the internet and y'all say that those people do too much when asking for the respect that their intellect has garnered them to be able to say, hey, I deserve. Y'all like the idea of ghetto banji fish trans girls, and this is no shade to all of those types of girls. The world needs everybody. The world needs the hoes, the world needs the slow, the world needs the stupid, the world needs the ratchet, the world needs the sexy reds, just like the world needs the Michelle Obamas. And so at the end of the day, all of the girls are valid, necessary, and need to be here. But there's a group of you motherfuckers that can't stand when the girls don't fall into the stereotype. Because then, just like the trade, y'all understand that we recognize our worth. Y'all understand that we recognize that when y'all are saying tranny, y'all are not saying tranny the way that the girls say tranny to each other. Y'all understand that we recognize all of the undertones that y'all use in ways that some of our Banji sisters don't, because they Banji. And they think that you're just being Banji in return. But what you know, as well as I know, is that it has nothing to do with meeting and matching the Banji energy. It's about being able to read a bitch to her face and know that she's not educated enough to see that it was a read. And if she does catch it, by the time she do, it's too motherfucking late for her to address it, or you're long gone. And so you mask the idea of having disdain for certain types of girls by simply saying things like, oh, these girls, these new girls, some of y'all just do too much. No, we've learned better. And so we're requesting that people do better by us and by people like us. This is not the 1990s where the girls are walking around looking for solidarity with any and everybody who is willing to accept the fact that we are the tranny friend in the group. This is 2025, where trans people want the same respect and basic dignity that everybody else in this motherfucking world wants. And if that respect and basic dignity is something as simple as saying, Hope Giselle, she, her, when you address me, then what the fuck is the problem? What the fuck is the problem? And why do so many fucking butch queens have an issue with the idea that people just want to be respected in the pronouns that they're sitting in? Because a lot of y'all, Craig the writer Stewart, do not like being misgendered yourself. But then you'll sit around and write dissertations about why other people should accept being misgendered because you don't understand or you think it's stupid. You sit around and you dictate how you're going to talk to people instead of thinking about the idea that there are actual people behind these sentiments that you make. You don't get to decide that you're not going to respect a non-binary person's pronouns by erasing their identity because you think that calling them they, them is stupid. It's not that you can't do it. Everybody is capable. I want to tell y'all a little story. I have 5 siblings. 3 of them I grew up in the house with because I was with my mother. 2 of them I did not grow up in the house with because they were with my father. Now, I knew them when we were kids, when we were younger. We grew up. My dad would come and get me on the weekends. I had a really great relationship. And unfortunately, right before I graduated high school, my father passed away. I was 17 years old. I did not see my sisters for about 8 years, had not seen them, didn't know where they were, had no clue how to look them up, had no clue how to find them, nothing. Randomly got rekindled with my sisters. The last version of me that my sisters interacted with was a little boy who was 17 years old and their brother. That was the only version of me they had known their entire motherfucking life. And after about 7 years or so of finding me again, I was never and have never been misgendered by my sisters who I was estranged from for years. And when I did, the last time I saw those girls, they were children. And never once have they slipped up, misgendered me, said the wrong name, said anything out of the way. They didn't even have questions. And the last time that they saw me, they were children. So when adults make excuses about the ability or inability to respect people's pronouns or respect the fact that a person has changed, and y'all use things like, oh, well, I knew this version of you when, or, oh, well, the last time that I saw you and it was so many years ago, you just have to give me time, and all of this bullshit. It's not about the idea of you needing time. It's about the simple fact that you don't respect something because you either don't see it for the person who's transitioning or you don't respect their transition at all. And so therefore, you believe that their transition is worthy of your disrespect because they don't either look the way you need them to look, or the transitions or the pronouns that they're asking to be respected don't make sense up here to you. You all woefully disrespect people on a regular basis and then try to use your intellect as a reason or a justification for why it's okay. And it's not, and it never will be. I love Madison to death. I will not, do not, cannot ever watch an episode of Fad Talk. I don't give a fuck what topic y'all are talking about. I don't give a fuck how much sense either one of y'all are making. As much as I love Maddie and as much as I want to support everything that she does, that is one venture I can't get into. For the same reason that I stopped watching the Queen's Court is the same reason that I will never turn my motherfucking phone on or go on YouTube when you two are on that motherfucking channel, because you are woefully disrespectful to a lot of trans people. And while I think in certain instances, Madison might give you a pass because she is also old school. And so there are some things that she grew up understanding that I will just never understand and will never tolerate. I am also not going to allow somebody who should know better, somebody who is intelligent enough to know better, to sit in my motherfucking face and play the game as if they don't understand why this is a problem and why it's disrespectful. And I like to think, especially you, Craig, as a person who avidly likes to remind people that you are a man, don't call you girl, respect your pronouns. I would think that out of every motherfucking body in the room at any given moment would understand why pronouns are important. Because they're so important to you that every single time that it happens, it never fails. You catch an attitude, you address it, you reroute it, you say something slick about it. It never slips without you being able to slide about the respect that you demand because of who you are. So when I sit back and I see you say things like, oh, I'm just going to call you by your name, that's not good enough. Because you are not just Craig. You are Craig, who is a man that identifies with the pronouns he, him. And you want those things to be respected. So give respect in return. Take the time to give and empathize with people who are human beings who are simply just asking you to respect the way that they want to be seen and viewed in society. And giving this bullshit haphazard ass way of talking about why you can't do that is not enough. Because I'm sure that you don't even know enough non-binary people for it to fucking matter. I'm sure that none of the butch queens, you, Funky Dineva, or any of these other motherfuckers on these platforms that talk for hours on end about how y'all don't get it, about how these new age kids are doing too much. I'm sure that none of y'all hang around or know enough non-binary fucking people for it to even fucking matter. When you do come across one, why is it so fucking hard to just appease that person's respect? If nothing else. But I understand what it is. It's because when you are a highly educated faggot who has to navigate rooms with people who do not care that you are a highly educated man, first and foremost, but have to throw in the fact that you are indeed a queen of epic proportions, and then mention your intellect. After they make sure that the entire world knows that you play in the booty hole of other men. It bothers you. And since you can't take it out on them, because in some way, shape, or form, you need coin, you need validation, you need something from them to stay afloat, you accept that disrespect, but then turn around and do onto your own community the disrespect that you don't want to have done onto you. Huh? If we're a community of people that is supposed to be based on the ideations of showing up for each other because we see the world differently and we understand that these boxes do not work for anybody, then how dare you? How dare you sit back, the both of y'all, and every other fucking butch queen and lesbian and person within the LGBTQ community who does not see it for the TQIA plus part. How dare y'all sit back on the backs of Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera and spit in their fucking face like y'all have not benefited from the same motherfucking people who would have been asking for that same respect if they were alive today? Miss Major is still alive, a pioneer of the movement, there in the moment. Would you look her in the motherfucking face and say she's doing too much by asking you to refer to her as Miss Major? A person who guaranteed the ability for y'all to have the freedom to get on motherfucking internet and call yourself Funky Dineva. A character, which might I add, is disrespectful to a lot of Black fucking women that sit back and support the bullshit. And they only support it because you are willing to admit that underneath all of that, that you're a man. They're willing to support that character not because they like it, but because they understand that you know a thing about yourself. And to be very motherfucking clear, since y'all love to run these things back in the wrong order, this is not about Madison. I don't watch the show because of Craig. He has problematic views around other trans people. He has problematic views around non-binary folks. And as a whole, I believe that Craig thinks himself too intelligent to ever learn anything from anybody else. There are very small instances. There are very small instances where I've seen him take accountability and say that he didn't know something and thank somebody for their education. But for the most part, you can't tell that queen nothing. Just like you can't tell Dineva nothing. Just like you can't tell most of these butch queens that all of a sudden have such an issue with trans people nothing. Just like you can't tell the butch queens in the comments of Gay Magazine nothing. Because a lot of you all have underlying issues with trans people and non-binary people for no other reason than because a lot of y'all feel like the dating pool for trade got diminished when more people started to embrace their transness because these niggas don't want to fuck other niggas. These niggas just like the idea of dick and titties in the same motherfucker.
Let's talk about it.
Room, and being able to have access to more trans women than they've ever been able to see in their entire life has presented y'all with a dilemma. They no longer want to just fuck these dudes and slam y'all ass into the backseat of somebody's Altima because they don't have to. There's no need to turn you around and bend you over and pretend that you have what they're looking for when there are so many more people that are willing to step into their truth and be what they're looking for. And a lot of y'all are pressed about it. A lot of y'all lost y'all favorite piece of trade to a non-binary person or a trans woman, and you can't stand us ever motherfucking since. Because in your mind, you cannot compute, it does not make sense how the fuck somebody who looks like Ving Rhames in a wig, who just popped them on yesterday, could dare make somebody who you were having sex with leave what you had going on. And you believe that somehow, in some way, in some shape or form, that you are better than trans people. You believe that we don't have the right to ask for basic decency. You believe that we don't have the right to ask for people to respect our pronouns. Y'all believe that trans people should shut the fuck up and just take whatever the fuck is happening to us. And when we don't, and when we have the ability to articulate why we don't want to accept those things, y'all are really fucking pressed because you can't read us into the floor about being unarticulate. You can't read us into the floor about not having valid points. You can't read us into the floor about not being able to draw conclusions that are both historic and social about why these things are horrible. And what I want folks to understand, what I want folks to see is that all of our freedom and all of our liberation is linked. I cannot go around saying I don't see it for gay boys. They're too promiscuous. They give the LGBT community a very bad rap because everybody thinks that the entirety of the LGBTQ community is out here fucking and sucking and doing all of this crazy shit because all of these gay men, all they do is go to these sex parties and dance around and snort coke and snort poppers and fuck each other all day. It does me a disservice to disenfranchise one part of the community because I don't like a facet of that community. Not every gay man does that. Not every trans woman really cares about pronouns. Not every non-binary person cares about pronouns, but there are enough people that do, that allow me and put me in a space where I say that this is something that I want to learn, not even just because it's a community thing, but because as a person, I want to do right by people. Why can't we just want to do right by other fucking people? I don't have to understand why some people want to sag their pants to just respect the fact that that's their swag, that's their style. I don't have to understand why some people want to shave their eyebrows off to understand and respect that that's just their fucking style. I don't have to understand why some trans girls want to get titties out to here. That's her business. But as long as you're being respectful to me, I have no reason to go out of my way to try to justify disrespecting you because what you're doing is not something that I would personally do. And a lot of y'all want to justify your horrible behavior and your horrible takes on trans and non-binary people with education and or lack thereof around the lived experiences of trans people while also being in community with some of the most popular and biggest trans people in the industry. If it were not for a trans woman who demands that people respect her motherfucking pronouns, Craig, do I have to say it? Dineva, yes, you were a movement on your own, but y'all were a force when y'all were together. The power of the Maddie mob helped to amplify you. So do I need to say it to either one of y'all? As y'all both sat on platform with one of the largest trans voices in the globe. Let me be very clear. Madison is no longer a national celebrity. She's a global phenomenon as it pertains to the TGNC community. And without her push, without her stamp, without her allowing y'all in her space, the two of you might be known. You might have some acclaim, but you would not be who you are and who you know or who we know you to be without that push. And so I find it extremely disrespectful when the both of y'all have the nerve to sit back and talk about how y'all don't want to respect people's pronouns sometimes and how it's doing too much for people to ask you to. Because I really wonder what would happen if every time someone saw y'all, they called you something else just because they didn't like the name that you were given. What if instead of Craig, people just started calling you Anthony because I don't feel like it. Y'all have to learn that respect is due to a dog and it don't cost you nothing to be nice. Respect is due to a dog and it doesn't cost you anything to be nice. And if you have to give a take that is not going to be popular, then do so with the nuance of understanding that what you're saying is going to be hurtful to other people. But sometimes the way that y'all say things, y'all know that it's going to be hurtful and y'all just don't give a fuck, which makes the take that much worse. But what happens if trans people stop fighting for everybody except trans people? Because Lord knows a lot of y'all don't show up for the girls. What happens if the girls and the non-binaries and the gays and the two-spirit folks just said, fuck y'all? Who would really be protesting? Because y'all think that y'all don't have anything to lose. Who would really be doing the work for legislation? Because y'all think that y'all don't have anything to lose. Who would really be hitting the streets and doing the real work? Because y'all think that y'all don't have anything to lose. And so while my goal here is not to shift anybody's mind, it's not to change anybody's opinion, it is to get people to see something that I think should be very plain and easy for everybody to understand. If you want people to treat you with respect, if you want people to acknowledge your humanity, you have to first be willing to acknowledge theirs. And the second that you don't, everything about respecting you is up to the discretion of the person that you disrespected first, willfully and on purpose. You don't get to decide that you're not going to be kind with something as simple as just addressing people the way that they want to be addressed. You don't get to decide. Y'all don't get to decide. The lesbians, the bisexuals, all of the gays don't get to decide that y'all are not going to respect TGNC folks, the TQIA plus people, and then dare us to treat you with the empathy and respect that you are actively telling us that you're not going to give. It is my hope that every butch queen, every lesbian, every cis person that constantly goes out of their way to misgender and treat a TGNC person or a non-binary person like they are less than because you think that it's stupid and doing too much, it is my hope that it burns every time you pee, and that every sexual experience that you have from here on out is mid as fuck and a waste of your time.
Well, she said a lot. So she said what she said. Some of the same points that she just said was some of the same points that I was just saying. Like, y'all gotta be silly if y'all think that the T is gonna go away. Y'all gotta be silly if y'all think that a lot of these protections, a lot of these festivals and things that we have that we've been awarded with didn't come without some type of fight. And like she said, who was out there doing the fight? Where were the gays? They was partying. Where was y'all at? Brothers and sisters, gay, lesbian, bisexual, where was y'all at? Oh, okay. But anyways, pretty much Hope said a lot of what I was thinking. So I don't have to say too much because she pretty much laid down the foundation. But anyways, we're gonna continue. So I guess I'll say let's do Angelica next because hers is pretty short, and then we'll tap into Madison's. 1 second. So here she goes. Let me make sure I'm not leaving nobody out. Okay, yeah. Hold on. Okay, so Angelica Ross. So our sister Angelica Ross had some things to say as well. She said, shook the table and spilled the tea. But if you're only mad when you get disrespected, baby, it's not activism, that's ego. Don't be the accessory at the party who forgets the T in the LGBT. We all need to show up or sit down, girl. All right, let's see what she got to say. Make sure y'all can see that. Okay, cool.
A little table got the girls a little upset when I was calling out your performative activism because you want to speak up whenever somebody has wronged you in the LGBT community.
Now she's talking about Craig and Funky Dineva.
Craig, people want to be selective with their outrage. I saw folks was outraged. You know, Tamar is thinking that she's, at a gay function and, girl, this and that, and she's saying the things or whatever. And they wanted to use that moment, I think, to make an example out of Tamar and got really heated. But my thing is, girl, sit your ass down. You the same person talking about how confused you are to use they, them pronouns. Sit down. This is exactly what I be talking about when butch queens have typically been the weakest link when it comes to standing with trans people in solidarity. It's so many examples I lose count of how many times being an ally is just too hard, too confusing for y'all. I'm not talking about the cis straight people. I'm talking about the Craigs. I'm talking about people who go and organize trying to remove the T from the LGBT. Yeah, I'm talking about y'all. I'm talking about y'all who are telling trans women that they have to perform femininity and that they should shave before they end up trying to walk into a women's bathroom. But ain't nobody telling Barbara that she got to shave, and Barbara's beard is natural, and Barbara's a cis woman. But now they are stopping cis women at that bathroom because they're not performing femininity like that, because y'all want to still play devil's advocate. Y'all want to still play in the sand. Y'all want to still be the cute accessory with the famous straight girls. You want to be with the Tamars and blah, blah, blah. But when you want to get mad when they don't understand the T and they are like, well, girl, and they want to play. Now they want to kiki. They want to kiki too, just like you want to kiki about the trans girls. Oops. all of these terminologies, all of this is about relationships. So let's get this down. If you don't have an intimate relationship with someone, then you need to ask how they want to be addressed. Point blank, period, end of story. So stop it with all this performative activism. Because if we're going to call the girls out, then we're going to call all the girls out. Then we're going to get all of us free because it's time. I'm ready. Are y'all ready? Are we really ready to set us all free? Because I'm with you. I think that folks need to be careful when trying to use that word girl as a pejorative term at gay men. I absolutely believe that. But girl, I'm going to tell you to sit your ass down if you're not one of the ones that's like that across the board. Because sometimes y'all girls need to be called girls so you can be reminded that they don't like you just like they don't like me. We part of the same community. Like Jay-Z said, you still a, well, girl, you still a girl. Girl, girl, girl. Shook a little table, got the girl.
It's just been a lot going on. But I mean, she is right. Like, gay men, they really think that they are different just because they are masculine or male presenting. So they feel like they are like a hierarchy. It's like a hierarchy in the community. But at the same time, child, or like she said, girl, they look at you as just the same. And it's sad how you guys get mad at someone calling you girl, but then don't want to give the same respect to someone else. And instead of calling her a woman or a girl, that's what she wants to be called, you call her a dude or sir, or just be doing stuff blatantly, just being funny. I've seen gay men be very disrespectful to gay women too, lesbians. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I just feel like for a community of people who are trying to combat hate and combat, people just being so rude and fighting for equality and love and things like that. And if y'all want to get married so much and have kids and have these normal lives, that's not what it is. Your being gay is not normal in the whole realm of the straight people and cisgender men and women. They don't look at you as normal. So why are you trying to make it seem as though in the community that they look at all of us as being abnormal, you're the normal one? No, let it go. That's not what it is. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but it is what it is. Anyways, let's move along because now we get to see what Auntie Madison had to say. Let me pull hers up. Hold on. Y'all know I'll be having to switch stuff. Okay, so we are going to pull up Auntie Madison and Craig, and after them, we'll give last little comments. Then we'll move on to Turkey Leg Hut. Let me see. Share screen. Okay. Yeah. Cool. And we are going to play. Let me put it on stage. Okay, now this video is a little lengthy too. I'm trying to keep my live. It's already been almost an hour. I'm trying to keep my live down to like 2 hours because if I go over 2 hours, they kind of be tripping and stuff. So I'm going to I'm gonna skip through it, but I'm gonna play some of the most important parts. So if I'm skipping, just know you can go back and watch the video. Y'all see the title. It's on T.S. Madison's page. Let's get activism. So let's play this and see what she got to say.
Honey, is it on? Is it on? Is this bitch recording? Oh. Okay, two things. What time is it? It's 9:30. What time is it, Bruce? It's 9:30. It's 9:30 a.m. Y'all know I'm just really getting back and settled in from Mexico. And I'm here in St. Pete tonight because, hey, Amir, I need a piece of guac from you. I'm here in St. Pete. Obviously, I don't. God, Lee, I hope I don't got no damn cold from all this atmosphere change. I'm here in St. Petersburg. I came straight from Mexico over here, and I've been in travel, so y'all really haven't seen. But I had a really good time in Mexico. I was out there doing a lot of hey, Trent, I was doing a lot of things. I do need a person that has. If you do hair, here in St. Pete or Tampa or somewhere, if you do hair, I might need you to curl me up something before this evening. I might thank you, baby. You know how you Liz, thank you so much. You know, I got much my shop. I might need you to curl me or something. You know, inbox Trent. You know, Trent takes care of left out from, you know, my perspective of, I think that when the girls see me sit next to someone, they think that I just let things go by and they're unchallenged or you know, whatever. Or from what I was gathering from both of those girls' videos, I don't think that they think I'm smart enough or I have the mental capacity to handle, you know, challenges that are thrown in my face or whatever. I don't know. I will say this to speak to this part of the educated girls, the educated, like the ones that, you know, they love the education and the degrees and all this stuff. And we love a very smart girl. We're very grateful for an educated trans person. I've been smart enough as a Black trans woman living in the United States of America, smart enough to amass, to be, you know, a girl of a very much so multi-million-dollar status. I've been able to do that. I've been smart enough to do that. I've been smart enough to sit at the head of at the executive tables to command the way that my life is going to be patterned out. I've been smart enough to do that. And I've also been smart enough to maneuver through the spaces where girls, Angelica and other girls, have occupied spaces and, you know, have gate kept and have, you know, kept me on the other side of a place, you know, and smiled at me and with me. And so I've been smart enough to maneuver myself through to get beyond and past that. And I've also been smart enough to reach back, Hope, and make sure that I don't do the same things in those spaces when I get into those spaces. So I made sure that I've been smart enough to reach back and get my sisters and nieces who needed opportunities to make sure that they get their first steps in mainstream media. I love all my people because we are in a space of, I just want to say this too while I'm here. All of the grand girls, we need you to give up one of your properties. I'd like for all the grand girls, I'm calling all the grand girls to the mark, all the television accolade girls, all the girls that have these degrees and these smarts, give up one of your homes. Let's all do this as girls that are, you know, because I'm not smart enough. I'm not educated enough. Let's give up one of our properties. How about we do that? How about we give up one of our properties and let's do what the dumb girl is doing. How about we all get together and we all buy another property together and we continue the starter house things going around in a circle? Or you just give up one of your properties that you have. How about we do that? I want you to understand that you guys think that whatever happens with Craig and however Craig's views and opinions is, whatever his views and opinions are, like that I'm like on the bandwagon of it. I've challenged Craig many times and will challenge Craig over and over and over again. The unfortunate part about the situation is when people say, well, I don't watch the show, I haven't watched the show. Well, then you've missed the challenges and you're only getting the clips. You're only getting the subtotal. You're not getting the full total. And that's okay. Or people that say,
now she is correct because I do watch their show a lot. I do watch Fact Talk, you know, just background music sometimes. But when I'm watching their show, yes, T.S. Madison does challenge Craig a lot. They challenge each other. I mean, it's not like they always agree on things. T.S. Madison always stands up and, you know, says what she says. I mean, he may not always agree. She may not always agree with him, but they do challenge each other for sure. So I just wanted to say that.
Hey, you don't challenge your friend Daniva with this and the other. I've most definitely challenged my friends when it comes because at the beginning, middle, and end of the day, I'm Black. You've heard me say on countless times that, and I know that shave thing, Angelica, I think that was for me. I don't know. It could have been because I did say about shaving, but I also in the same breath said, I don't invalidate anyone's trans identity or non-binary identity. I said them to be mindful of the way that the world, the optics of the world that we live in, because the world, we haven't had the opportunity to really change the world completely how we're working on trying to change, or just trying to get the world to be accepting of what we are and who we are. I've said countless times that I'm not invalidating your identity as a trans person or a non-binary person. What I'm saying is be mindful of the spaces that you get ready to occupy. If you go in the bathroom and you have a beard from ear to ear, you don't think anyone's going to look at you strange. Even us as trans people walking into spaces, we have stepped back twice and we've looked at things, but we were like, okay, we don't understand. You already know that there's a lot of propaganda that goes around with us as trans people. Oh my God. You already know that there's a lot of propaganda that goes around with us and things. So I'm always, yes, I may joke and I may have fun and I might, have a good time, but I'm definitely for my people. Never forget, I'm dark brown, dark skin, light skin, beige, fluorescent beige, bitch. I'm Black. Let's never forget that. But we can't, can we? I don't like when people have my phone number and they have a small grievance with myself or some slight with anything. My phone number's been the same for 30 years. Yes, I've lived a long time. I'm close to 50. I was smart enough to maneuver through and survive that. AIDS and prostitution and trade and all the things. I was smart enough to maneuver through and make that happen and to amass a fortune. I was smart enough to do that. I don't like the notion that I'm like a dumb girl, because I'm many things in this world, but dumb is not one of them. Dumb is not one. I've never been dumb. I've been smart enough to outsmart the degreed. I've been smart enough to outsmart the degreed girls, or and the girls that they can't figure it out because they're so smart, but yet they have no reach. Arms are long, but you have no reach. I've had the opportunity to stand next to girls or stand next to and with girls who have thought that I was floor trash and wasn't supposed to be in the rooms. I was smart enough to do that. I was smart enough to make an impact on this earth, on this globe. I was smart enough to do that when some girls are still trying to figure out, how do I get in? I was smart enough to do that. And smart enough to amass a fortune. Ain't that something? Again, let's get back to the place. How about all of my elite, smart, degreed, educated girls? Let's give up one of your properties. Let's give up one of them. Selfless, no money attached, no gain. Was actually going to be quiet about it and wasn't going to say a word to the public, but was told that I need to speak up so that this can be something that can start a movement. How about we do that? We as trans people are not going to always be in unison with the things that we and how we feel and everything. We're not going to always be in unison. But what we will do and what I will do, and this is why I'm not even in a tone of like this place, because I was watching these videos and I was just like, well, Madison, how do you respond? You know, everybody thinks that I'm going to always respond in this place or whatever. I'm not, because these are people that I love, and I love them with the same, you know, breath that I had yesterday. But these are people that I love and respect and honor, revere, reverence. And I've championed even when some didn't champion me. It just gets to a point where no matter no matter what you do, or you're never going to be able, you're never going to do enough. And I understand the way that things are going on in this administration and in this political climate that we're in right now. I understand currently now, you know, that tensions are high and everything that every conversation that we have is important. And that's why when I sit on Fag Talk and I joke and have a good time, I know that my audience reaches a mass of people. And I know that I've tried to do my best from what I can and where I can to educate even with my not being very smart, to educate my mass of people that are following me to understand the issues of trans people, to understand the where Black trans people are in the world. And there are many people that can attest to following me for almost 2 decades, the change that they've come in their heart or in their families, or how I've helped bring families back together because of the relationship that I've had with my mom. You know, all these things that I've lived my life ups and downs in front of people, and the accountability that I've taken from, you know, the mistakes that I've made. I even when I set up and I've talked about how that I was one of those people who felt as a trans person that I was not who, when it came down to the Kaya, I felt that I was one of the people that she wasn't talking about. That when she was saying sissies, bulldaggers, punks, faggots, I've said this on countless times. I've even occupied major spaces and have said this, like, I made a mistake. I made a mistake and thought that this person cared for me or loved me when they were saying transphobic or homophobic things and stuff like that. I thought that they weren't talking about me. And I've shared these experiences. I've talked about these experiences. I've talked about these things and took accountability and where them, you know, and I've said that when I've gotten into it with other trans girls, yes, I have read them down to the floor and said some vile things back to them. But bitch, I'm fighting. When I'm fighting niggas, bitch, I'm fighting niggas with all the strength I got, bitch. And so, yes, I've gotten into it with girls, and I've torn their pussy holes open, bitch, and bricked them and did the things. So this is what we do. We're catty. We're shady. This is what we do when we're battling. Oh well, I got a public space. I got a whole public space. Okay, I'm still a human, and I still bust a bottle on the motherfucking ground if I had to, you know. But Angelica, there was a time that I don't think that you knew about when one of those girls, one of those stalker fan girls, because I didn't respond to an inbox, became belligerent. I think that's the word, since I'm really not that smart. Belligerent with me. And, you know, she felt like that she had ownership, that I should see her. And so she went on a tirade of making videos and shit about me or whatever. And then she made this assumption. I remember we were out of town and I was getting a message saying that I was stalking some girl. I'm like, why would I stalk a broke bitch? What reason would I have to be stalking a broke bitch? I'm getting to my bag. Why would I stalk a bitch that's broke and late and has said these vile things about me, and then putting out that I'm trying to hurt? And the word under the, because, you know, I get all the word under the street. There's just a lot of things I don't address. You over there saying you're going to handle that. None of you girls have the capacity to handle me. For the record, None of you girls have the capacity to handle me. I don't give a fuck what position or what seat you may sit in. You don't have the capacity to handle me. That goes from the top of the food chain, which is Laverne, to whoever else, to down to bottom of me. You don't have the capacity to handle me. You don't have the strength to handle me. I am an omega force. Omega. You don't have the strength to handle me. And so when I heard that, I asked my girlfriend, like, so who's supposed to get handled? Everybody got my phone number. Everyone has my telephone number. Everyone has my this, because I've always been open and loving, but you don't have the range to handle me. I don't care how many degrees and education and spaces and places that you've held. You don't have the strength to handle the TS at all. I'm not a line that you want to walk. I'm omega level. The best thing that could have been done is to call me and communicate and ask me what happened. But to handle me, I'd like to see it. I would have loved to see it. And though we live in this climate right now, where we all need to be in unity, because we must, it's important for us to be in unity. Ain't nobody ain't nan gonna handle me. N-A-N-N, ain't nan gonna handle me. They got titties at the top or whatever you got at the bottom. You ain't gonna handle me. I'd like to see it. Now, I don't have any problems with anybody. And my love still runs deep to the ground and, to the floor with all of my trans siblings, my sisters.
Now I'm going to try to speed this up to Craig because Madison had a lot to say. But again, we're trying to stay down on time. So let me go ahead and get to the part where Craig.
And because I'm old school, and also not just old school, but I'm old school with my arms open to learn. But I'm old school in the fact of the women that I and the slew of girls, when we were transitioning, we looked to that and those as the women that we wanted to look like, and none of them had a fucking beard from here to here. None of them. So miss me with that. Oh, what you say, G? Stay down? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Hold on. No. Don't do this to Hope. No. Don't do this to Hope, and don't do this to Angelica. Don't do this. I'm just meeting everybody on the line where they met us. So don't do this. These are my sisters. These are my nieces. But I have questions about a couple of things. I had questions about stuff. Craig, I've said this to you 50,000 times. I don't know we haven't been on Fag Talk in weeks.
At least a month.
So I don't know where any of this stuff comes from. I don't know where you've been, what you said. I've been out here trying to get this starter house thing together. I don't know what the fuck that you done been. I don't know what you've said or done. But what I do know is when there's places, when there are nouns involved, people, places, and things, when there are nouns involved, bitch, you check me, or you call me in. Excuse me, let me.
Right.
You call me in, and I call you in. We sit next to each other. I do not agree with the things that you say about this and the other. I don't agree
About
with a lot of your
binary thing.
I do not. I have never agreed.
And it truly is okay. It truly is okay. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna really sink my teeth in this when we get back on Fag Talk, bitch. because I want the masses to know. And when I sit up and I'm talking like this, I'm talking to you, Angelica, and I'm talking to you, Hope, because both of you had my name in your mouth for no apparent reason. Part of the reason that I take issue with both of them is because, one, with Angelica, she didn't reach back to some shit that happened in New York City back in February. Bitch, it's almost May.
Yeah, but I understood. Listen, here's me playing devil's advocate. I understood the way she weaved that into the conversation. Let me do this. That was very smart of her.
Well, help me understand what she weaved in, because
well, she weaved in the conversation about the pronouns, and see, this is how we do on the show.
This is what we do on the show. Go ahead, I'm listening.
And unfortunately, Hope, you don't really get to the end, and that's okay. This is what we do on the show.
Right.
I think that's what I was just trying to see. Who said they're going to handle you?
Nobody said they was going to handle me. No. This was this was under the table conversation with a girl. You remember that girl that was stalking me, and then she was over there telling people that somebody was trolling her in her comments. And so no,
I'm doing good, beta boy.
She was saying that I doxed her and that I did some kind of stuff to her while we were out of the country. We was out of the so well, and so she tagged Angelica, and Angelica was in it. Like, instead of calling her the bitch that she know, she was this new girl was saying that she was being harassed and this and the other. Because I don't mind who I get get it on the floor with when I need to. And so I got word that the girl was saying, that's why I never called and asked her, because I was like, nah, she couldn't be saying she was gonna handle me, and I'm on the lie. She couldn't be saying that she was gonna handle me.
Not you.
Nah, I know she's from Chicago, but I'm from Dade.
It wasn't you.
It wasn't me.
It couldn't have been.
About a bitch that's stalking me and trying me. You're a star, you're a celebrity. You know these fans will try to attach themselves to you to get a click in the view sis. You know this.
Let me
hold on,
say
Craig.
this.
Let me get this out.
Oh,
You were a
you
bigger
didn't
star.
get those out all the time. I've been sitting here waiting.
You were a bigger star before me, girl. So you know how this works.
And see, that's Angelica's problem. But see, I'm gonna sink my teeth into her.
You were a big
when we sit back
star
down
before me, so you know how this works. You know that this crazy ass girl over here talking about why would I go through GLAD or any other program to get your address to dox you? Why would I do that? Make it make sense. And you over here telling who you gonna handle? Oh yes, because the word got under the table. But now we're in the public now, having a public conversation. Here we are now. Who gonna handle me? You gonna handle me? No. I won't be handled. We can sit down and have a conversation, but handling me? Omega level.
Phoenix Force.
You don't have this. You don't have that. And I love all my sisters, but I love all my sisters, but I would get it on the floor verbally. We're talking about verbally first. Verbally.
They don't want one to maximize the snap.
I'm just saying.
No more muting.
You listen. I'm just saying. You better grab that handle in that pot and cook you something to eat. Talking about handling me. You better grab that handle. You better grab that handle on the end of that. Now, I said, well, what the fuck is this? Once
teachable moment, or could have been a teachable moment. And in Angelica's commentary, she said, girl, referring to me multiple times. I don't give a fuck about anybody calling me girl, in the sense that it does not hurt my feelings. It's just a boundary that I have set. I simply set a boundary. I don't know you, Angelica, just like I don't know Tamar, so the rules still apply. I don't know you. So it doesn't matter that you are under the LGBTQIA community. I don't know you. And so just like you would not want me to call you boy, sir, him, his, don't play with me in your motherfucking commentary. Because see, what I'm noticing is the Hopes and the Angelicas who think that they're these complete and total voices for the trans community. They think that they get to set the bylaws and the rules for all trans people. You think think that you can call butch queens girls and Miss Thing, but then when one of the girls call you sir, him, you don't like being misgendered. Now, even when I am serious, like in this moment, I'm still not going to call you boy, sir, or mister, because I am true to this.
Well,
I'm really about bridging community.
because, and also because they are women.
And I'm not trying to be divisive.
Yeah, I didn't come on divisive either.
No. But what I'm saying is, like, they purport that they are these trans activists and this, that, and the third, and they're all about community and this, that, and the third. But it's ineffective. It is essentially ineffective if in your commentary, Angelica, and in your commentary, Hope, the one that I just saw today, where you're gonna sit there and say, "Oh, the girls and da da da." Like, okay, yes, it's semantics within the community, but when you're trying to call somebody to the carpet and you're using those words, those are fighting words, and we know the difference. We know that you're now using it as a pejorative.
Well,
but my thing is this: Hope and Angelica, you can police anything that I say, but you can't control me. And you love to sit on your platforms and try to say that we're not a monolith, but in actuality, you want us to move as if we are. You want us to, you think that I have to adopt your ideas, your ideology about the whole them and they thing with non-binary people? What I said was, then, now, and forevermore, is I respect non-binary people. And we're going to play the clip on the next Fag Talk when we sit down, because we've already pulled it. I've already pulled the clip. Thank you, Kayla. Kayla has already pulled the clip of me saying, I believe that non-binary is a thing. I respect non-binary people. I never said, Angelica, that I was confused. I never said that I never said that I was confused about that. What I said was, so that I don't misgender a non-binary person, I am going to use their name. Because if a non-binary person presents as a woman, or they present as a man, I don't want to slip and say him if that person is non-binary, if they go by them or they. I'm going to use their name, because then if I do try to conform and use the them and they and not use their name, and if I slip, then that's going to be a problem. Oh, he's out here intentionally misgendering. No, some of you bitches, Angelica and Hope, you intentionally want to misunderstand and misinterpret people. Some of that shit that you all are coming on these platforms arguing about, that's your family trauma. I have nothing to do with how your family handled you. And Angelica, for you to say the Craigs of the world as if I am the poster child for all of these trans men, transphobic men, transphobic gay men, that was disingenuous. It was divisive, and it makes you a fraud. Because what you need to understand is I have been doing this long before I met Madison. Now, yes, the glow up came when I met this bitch. A lot of you met me when I met this bitch. But I've been writing and producing stage plays since I was 26. Bitch, I will be 49 years old in 2 days. So, bitch, while I was writing and producing stage plays, you were probably in the military. You probably hadn't even transitioned yet. So I was doing this before you got here, before you were doing this. And what I'm going to further delve into when we sit back down over there on Fag Talk is that what you need to understand is your anger is not with me. Some of you are upset because I am sitting next to her. And secretly, you want that position. I didn't ask for this position. It's just the magic that happened when we sat down. We never decided that we were going to do a show called Fag Talk. Some of you have a problem with the name Fag Talk. Bitch, get over it. Get over it. You are not going to control us. You are not. You can never. You use your platform to do what you do, and we're going to use ours to do what we do. I am hosting Telling Our Stories on June 20th in Atlanta. Angelica, I will sponsor your ticket. I will sponsor your ticket, bitch, because I know money might be a little issue for you right now. I will sponsor your ticket. And at that Telling Our Stories, we're going to talk about all of the things that divide us as a community. I've invited trans people, non-binary people, so that we can really flush out the issues, to really bridge communities. So instead of you all getting in front of these cameras and on these live streams, bring your ass down to the Park Tavern on June 20th. Again, I will sponsor your ticket, Angelica. Hope, since you be twirling around in all of your designer shit, I'm sure you can pay for your own ticket. So instead of coming on your live, don't talk to me on your live. Come talk to me in person on Friday, June 20th. The tickets are already on sale. So let's talk about this in a real way. If you really are interested in bridging communities, if you really are interested in educating people about trans identity and non-binary people, because you're not going to continue to conflate what I've said. And the fact that you tried to tie in something that Funky Dineva said with what I said, that's nasty work. That's nasty work. And when we sit over there on Fag Talk, there are a lot of things that Madison says because she is trans that I will not say. I barely say trainee. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've never said it, but I barely say trainee because I know some of you, and I say this all the time on the show. I say, you know what, I'm not going to get into that because I know some of the trans girls are going to feel away. So there are certain things that I don't even say. And back to you, Angelica, the fact that you reached back to some shit that happened 2 months ago about me correcting a cisgender woman about using the wrong pronouns with me, misgendering me. If she had called you boy, you would never turn your motherfucking live camera off, bitch. You'd still be talking about how Tamar called you him or he or boy. And you'd be trying to rally everybody in the queer community to be on your side, to be in your defense, and to cancel Tamar. I didn't take it that far. I'm not interested in Tamar being canceled. For me, it was just a teachable moment. That's all it was for me. It was not about us trying to get clout or me trying to get clout. Bitch, any clout that, I don't need any more clout. Bitch, this is enough right here. This right here has been enough. I don't need to talk about anybody for clout. Every time we sit down to do Fag Talk, every single time that we sit down to do Fag Talk, every single video goes viral. So why do I need to go and create a situation with a Tamar? So again, for you to dissect that whole incident and then to make it seem like I was wrong because I didn't want to be misgendered. So then isn't that the cornerstone of everything that you talk about for trans people? Wanting to be respected, hope, and wanting people to use your proper pronouns? So because I'm a gay man that I should be okay with that?
Well, where did this conversation come from about the T being removed? Where did this, because we haven't been, I have not seen.
First I heard of that was when Dineva said it.
Was talking.
Right.
So I don't know where none of this stuff came from. Like, I haven't seen you in a month.
That's what I'm saying. We've talked, but we have not seen each other.
So I don't know where any of this stuff came from, you know, and for me to get up and be like, well, what has happened? And then I look at Dineva's page and I was like, and I commented immediately about trans is the only letter of the you know, the acronym.
And I have said that on Fag Talk.
The only letter of this, or besides the Q, that's an identity. Like that's everything else is a sexual orientation.
And the fact, I don't even understand how Hope tied me into her video talking about this trans stuff. So again, she's conflating something that I said about the non-binary thing. And I'm not going to use them or that. I'm still not going to use it.
Well, I am.
And that's fine.
I am.
I'm going to use the person's name.
I am. I'm going to use they, because they and them is not hard.
It's not.
I don't give a fuck what you say.
It's not hard.
It's not. They and them is not hard, Craig.
It's not hard and it's not confusing. But what I'm not going to be is accused of misgendering. So I'm going to use your name.
Okay, great.
And Hope, Angelica, neither one of you can force me to buy into your politics. You cannot. And I'm not interested in jumping on every new thing that the queer community comes up with. I'm not. And if that makes me disrespectful, then so be it.
I'm going to use they and them, she and her. I'm going to do that. Me. Now, at the end of the day, when we
Well, y'all heard what Madison said. Y'all heard what Craig said. If y'all want to watch the rest of the video, then let me do this. Then y'all can go over here on YouTube. The video is by T.S. Madison called Let's Get Activism. But pretty much they said a lot. It was a lot to say. We got 421 of y'all. I have to get off of here because I can't go over 2 hours. So that way I can put the stuff on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, y'all better come over here to YouTube. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're going to get down and dirty into this a little bit more. Hopefully we can have the ladies and gentlemen come together and have a conversation about this and make sure that we can get this done. Have a town hall conversation about this. I'm not going to delve into the turkey leg hut owner being exposed because that literally should be a video in itself. So just give me some time. And I said my next video, we'll talk about the turkey leg hut because there's a lot of stuff coming in about that. I know, right? Very interesting. It's a lot going on, Chris. Hey, Chris. Chris cute. But anyways, I have to cut this video short because we already about to get close to the 2 hour mark. But I guess I'll do another video tomorrow, talk about the turkey leg hut. Not only the turkey leg hut, we got to talk about what is his name? Marlon Wayans, his daughter, well, excuse me, trans son, used to be daughter. And he's, advocating for the people in the community. So we'll do another video tomorrow just to catch up on that stuff. Thank y'all for being here. I see it's 424 y'all in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. Keep liking and subscribing so that way y'all can see anytime I go live. And I hope to see y'all for the next live. And again, like, comment, even if you're watching this video, if it's over, make sure y'all get in the comments. I want to know what y'all got to say. And I will bring my next video back so we can continue this conversation and the one about turkey leg hut. All right, y'all enjoy y'all Sunday. Don't eat too much. Relax, chill, get ready for the week, and stay blessed.